Between 80 and 95% of men who lose weight regain it. Having trained hundreds of men over 40, this usually happens because of a few easy to make pitfalls. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what these fat loss mistakes are and how to fix them. To start, let's look at why men over 40 in particular are making these mistakes. Fat loss at 40 plus is not the same as fat loss at 25. But most guys are still using outdated methods designed for a much lighter version of themselves. When you were much younger, you could do cardio a week or two, drop the weight, and you could look leaner. But now, since you're 20 to 40 plus pounds overweight, it's not that easy, so you need a long-term approach that doesn't require you to burn calories on a treadmill. Another myth that men over 40 usually tend to believe is that you need to cut sugar and carbs out of your diet to see any type of result. Not only is this not true, but it's harmful. The men who believe this think that losing fat is much harder than it is, so they often put it off and continue to pack on the pounds as the years go on. And the last thing holding them back is eating too little. That goes against what we know about losing fat, but by eating as little as possible during the week, you're setting yourself up for a massive rebound on the weekends. Now, we did not achieve a 95% failure rate on diets by choosing a sustainable strategy, so this actually checks out. And this begs the question, what fat loss mistakes should you avoid to drop stubborn fat past the age of 40? Mistake number one is not following a calorie deficit. If you're not losing weight, you are by definition not in a calorie deficit. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but by accepting it, you'll get results 10 times faster, I promise you. Most men believe their metabolism is significantly lower than it is, and we know based off science that your metabolism really doesn't change significantly from the ages of 20 to 60. You can probably eat more food than you think. The problem is maintaining that consistency. To estimate your calorie deficit, roughly take your lean body mass and multiply it by 10 to 12. Currently, I weigh 200 pounds with around 12% body fat. My lean body mass is around 176 pounds, and if I multiply that by 12, it sets my calorie deficit at approximately 2,100 calories. This is pretty much spot on with what I've been doing for the last 10 weeks on my most recent cut, where I've lost 9 pounds so far. Mistake number two is not optimizing your hormones. Testosterone plays a crucial role not only in reducing your body fat, but also maintaining muscle mass. If we optimize your testosterone levels, it'll increase your chances of losing body fat and building muscle. Now, to optimize your testosterone levels, it's essential to ensure that you're consuming enough protein, engaging in weightlifting, and getting sufficient sleep. A safe protein goal to start is 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass. Using the same example above, you can take 0.8 and multiply it by 176 pounds, which is my lean body mass, just for example's sake, and that'll result in 140 grams of protein minimum per day. I tend to go a little bit higher because my appetite's super high and it helps keep my hunger at bay. Mistake number three is thinking that you deserve to reward yourself with food. Have you ever saved up for something before? It could be your first house, or it could be a nice car or a watch. If you budget, you might tell yourself, hey, I'm gonna save $1,000 a month for the next 12 months in order to reach my goal of $12,000. Now, if by the third month you tell yourself, wow, I've done such a good job saving, I feel like I deserve to reward myself because I've been working so hard. And then you proceed to go buy yourself a fancy Gucci belt, which consumes most of the $2,000 that you've already spent, and this sets you back tremendously. And if you have the same attitude moving forward, we can both agree that it'll take you years to save up for this house, right? Nutrition really isn't any different, and this mindset is very destructive when it comes to someone reaching their fitness goals, especially dropping stubborn fat. You track your macros or calories all week, and you do such a good job until the weekend. And because you've done such a good job, you think you deserve to enjoy yourself. But what you're doing is over-consuming way too many calories, and that's setting you back. What I prefer to do with my clients is an 80% whole foods diet with 20% of whatever else they enjoy, but still hitting their macros. The reason I love this approach is because it never implies that you should be on or off your diet. If you want to be more flexible during dinner, for example, you just need to eat a little bit cleaner earlier in the day. You only need 80% consistency to accomplish a fat loss goal. However, to clarify, 80% of 30 days is 24 days in a month. This means that you can only miss 6 days per month to achieve good results. Now, following macros or protein, carbs, and fats will significantly improve your chances of success because it doesn't exclude any food groups, but rather focuses on macros to balance your muscle to fat ratio. And most men we work with are in sales, or they're lawyers or doctors or even company executives, and they're not going to avoid cutting carbs or sugar out of their diet because it's just simply not realistic for them. Now, between traveling, client dinners, and enjoying foods that they love, it's not a sustainable strategy for them to even consider, so we don't try it. So how can we help you get consistently good instead of occasionally great to achieve better results than 95% of men your age? Let's take a look at the old way of dropping body fat. This individual is doing cardio 6 times a week, and he's incredibly low in energy because he's skipping all his meals and avoiding all carbs. He initially sees a drop in the scale in the first week or so, but as soon as he reaches the weekend, he becomes ravenous. Instead of staying consistent, he completely falls off track and consumes way too much wine and cocktails, blowing his calorie count by the thousands. And by the time he gets to Sunday, he feels exhausted, frustrated, extremely bloated. Then he just restarts this entire cycle. Does that sound familiar to you? Let's take a look at the new way. The new way prioritizes less work and just requires more consistency on your part. You go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and stick to weightlifting because that's what's going to allow you to retain your muscle and help your metabolism grow over time. Think of this like compound interest instead of just working paycheck to paycheck. And instead of starting your fat loss phase by doing cardio every single day, you incorporate it as a tool to help you lose 1% of your body weight per week. A great way to get started is to add more steps to your daily step goal instead of a full-blown cardio routine. We usually start with an extra 3,000 to 4,000 steps beyond your current step goal. So if you're currently getting 1,500 steps per day, a good place to start might be 5,500 steps per day. Because you're doing this more sustainably, when you get to the weekend, you're not ravenous and you're not raiding the pantry at night. Now, this is a much easier approach, and as a result, your hunger is not skyrocketing. Now, these are the keys that our clients use to drop stubborn fat, and now you can use them too. Now, losing stubborn fat is one of the biggest problems that men over 40 face, but another issue usually arises once this goal is accomplished. They realize that their chest isn't what they thought it was going to look like when they lost the weight. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel by clicking this so that you don't miss the next video, which will be why 99% of men over 40 struggle to build their chest. And yes, I will be taking into consideration joint pain, movements that you can do alone without a spotter, etc. I'll also include an example workout routine as well, and crucial cues going over all of the exercises to get the most out of your training.